guy married a non-Jew. I'm sorry, should I stop now?
Whatever you like.
Non-Jew, and then
Good evening. Nice to see you.
Good evening.
Okay, here we go. Let's get started.
This Rabbi, how about the Sandak is carrying him to the Sandak? No, because the Sandak showing us some of us Sandak. That's why.
All right, what can you do? That's the way it goes.
Yeah.
So I think we finished the Siman, right? We're going now to Siman Daled.
Yes.
Shoo. Okay, that's good. That's a good sign. We're coming along here. We're almost up to Tzitzit. We're getting up to Tzitzit, which is really a nice topic.
Which is
And then Tefillin is heavy duty topic. Heavy duty.
Siman is.
We're gonna have a fun with Tefillin.
We're four Simanim away.
I'm sorry?
4 Simanim away.
Huh?
4 Simanim away.
Right, yeah, pretty close. Yeah. Not too far. Okay, so here we go. We're going to Siman Daled. I'm bringing up this whole thing here. Okay. You explain to him what it was?
Yeah.
Incredible.
Lesson learned. Always be careful. What? No, yeah. Because because it depends how the kid's family raises the kid.
Okay. So we're starting the tour. Siman Daled. Hope you have the place there, Yitzchak. You got it? Okay, good. You got it. You know he's getting used to it. He knows where to go. Okay, so I got it, Yosef.
Oh, sorry, I was just checking.
Got it?
Something.
Got it? Okay. So it says, וירחץ בניקיון כפיו ויברך ברוך אתה השם אלוקינו מלך העולם אשר קידשנו במצוותיו וציוונו על נטילת ידיים. So you wash your hands, right? And you bless this blessing, נטילת ידיים. וידקדק להראות עליהם 3 פעמים. I'm sorry.
This is the Siman is already finished. Veidakdek is already.
The Sif is already finished.
Sif is already finished.
So where? Which is the last word?
Veidakdek is Siman Bet.
Oh, got it. Okay, beautiful. So we're doing Netilat Yadayim, right? As we said, right? It's after the bathroom, right? Don't forget that. Huh? That's the way the Rabbi used to do it. First bathroom, then Netilat Yadayim. That's the proper way. In our times.
Oh, this is the morning.
Right, we're talking about the morning. Okay, so now we're gonna do Bet Yosef. Bringing it up. Siman Daled. So it says Maran Bet Yosef. In the beginning, he writes like this. Birchatz Mikayin Kapav. אף אגב דרחיצה בכל מידי דמנקה בנקה מהנה לתפילה. Oh, look what it says, right? Even though regarding prayers, okay, you can do washing with anything which cleans you. Okay? In other words, all you really want is cleanliness, basically, for prayers. כמו שכתב בסמוך, like we wrote close by, אין כוונתו פה לומר שירחץ בכל מידי בנקה. But here he's not referring to that. Talking about something which just cleans you. The in can, in other words, it has to be water dafka. That's what he's going to translate, right? It has to be only water. But the in can lo shayach lemimah, because otherwise it wouldn't be relevant to say, v'yivarech al netilat yadayim. How are you going to do netilat yadayim if you're just doing something else? You're not using water.
Yeah.
Sharei eno mevarech can, because you wouldn't bless like that if it was something else. Ela kesherochet yadav b'mayim, unless you're doing with water. וגם לא שייך למימר וידקדק להראות עליהם 3 פעמים. Also, it wouldn't be relevant to say you should do 3 times. to spill 3 times. Kiyim b'mayim, only with water, that's relevant. V'gam lo shayach lomar, also it's not relevant. V'im en lo mayim, that if you don't have water, kivan de ad hashta ayre ben. So in other words, that shows that we're talking about water, obviously. Kivan de ad hashta ayre ben beyesh po mayim. So it must be that until now it's talking about that he has water. Ben be'en lo, whether it doesn't have has or not. So it must be right that we're talking about water, because otherwise, right, it doesn't make any sense, the whole thing. So why did he use the language of the pasuk, the verse, right? He says it's a verse. This nakat right? So this is why I use the word nikayon kapai, right? Because it comes from the pasuk from Tehillim. Whereas that kafvav, Tehillim kafvav, ve'efshar od lomar says you can also say furthermore, the nikayon shkatav kolel kol midim menakeh. That which he said, right? Also, it's possible to say that when he said nikayon, or cleaning your hands, he's talking about anything which cleans your hands. Ben mayim ben shar dvarim, whether it's water or other things. The menakin that they clean you. The hadar kamar. Then he comes back to say, if you're washing with water, you should bless netilat yadayim. If you're using water, bless netilat yadayim, and then also do 3 times. If he doesn't have water, you're just wiping yourself with something, like the classic example is like taking some dirt, and wiping with dirt, or your clothes, whatever, something like that, right? Something dry, or a towel. Take a towel, wipe your hands with a towel. Right? So there, the blessing would not be netilat yadayim, it would be nekiut yadayim. That would be the blessing if you're doing that. Right? Perush Rishon, but he says, the first perush is the correct one. So what does that mean? It's talking about only water, not anything else. Right? That's the main perush. Okay, so it goes on to say, so what does that mean? In the morning, right? You don't want to use anything else besides water.
And what was
When you're getting up in the morning, that's
And what was the proof?
It comes out from the language of the Torah. That's what he means to say here, right? The language implies that. So katava ra'ah, right? It says the ra'ah, one of the Rishonim, the ra'ah, right? You know who this was? Rabbi Aaron Halevi, ra'ah, a smarty guy. Brachot in this the whole mind the pasila netilat yadayim. So he says whatever is pasul for netilat yadayim, water, which is pasul, is qualified for netilat yadayim. Tafka le seuda, right? That's only talking about seuda, that you can't use certain types of water. But when it comes to prayers, keman de sagilan the whole midde de menake, since it's enough for us, anything which cleans you. So you can use other things as well. Lo mevarech behu kevan de lo itkun. So I'll read that again one time. I didn't catch the language here. He says, Aval, litfilah, when it comes to prayers, since it's enough for us for anything which cleans you. In other words, when you're going into mincha, to pray mincha, right? You don't have to use dafka water. If you don't have water, you can use something else, whatever, It's not so crucial. So in other words, when you're going in to pray from, let's say, mincha, right? You're not trying to get the ruach ra off your hands, because there's no ruach ra. You know what I mean? So all you want to do is just clean yourself. That's all. You want to be clean for prayers. That's the whole mission there. So therefore, you can use anything which cleans you. You can use lechatchila. But you don't bless with that. That's what he says, right? In other words, when you're going for prayers, you don't bless netilat yadayim. So when do we bless netilat yadayim? Only in the morning, or for seudah. Because there's it wasn't made for Natila. In other words, the prayers, it wasn't decreed. The whole thing like that. Okay, so then it goes on to say, then you bless Netilat Yadayim, right? Perek Haroeh, that's where it is in Brachot Samich Amud Bet over there. Let's see, brings it. Ki ma sheyadeh lema al Netilat Yadayim. So says the Gemara over there, when you wash your hands, say al Netilat Yadayim. Katav Arosh. Says the Rosh over there, Al Zeh, Lefi Sheyadayim Shel Adam. So now, right, Rosh brings you the reason here. Why do we wash our hands in the morning? From what I remember, there's like 3 opinions about this. We're going to now discuss, right? Why do we wash in the morning? What's the reason for that? Right? There's the simple reason. There's the Kabbalistic reasons. All kinds of things. Okay, so right, little by little. So let's go with the Rosh first. So says the Rosh, right? So he says the reason why we wash in the morning because the hands are like going all over the place, at night, when you're sleeping. So you're touching, your all parts of your body. So you get sweat, all kinds of stuff on your hands. That's what we said, right? You're touching dirty parts of your body. So therefore, the rabbi said, before you read whatever, Torah, whatever, you should first bless Kriyat Shema. So before you read Kriyat Shema and Mitpalel, before you pray and say Kriyat Shema, you have to wash your hands. Why is that? Because apparently you touch something right on your body, no good at night. I mean, not clean. That's the reason why. Right? Now, if you're going to ask me, maybe he didn't touch, right? So the answer is the rabbis made it for everybody. In other words, they said, since most people do touch, there's a problem usually with that. So they make it for everybody, so this includes everybody. Even though you may be the cleanest guy in the world, right? You didn't touch nothing. You were wearing gloves then or whatever it is, right? Doesn't make any difference.
Right.
Yeah.
Not for the other reasons, but for this reason, even washing with soap and water is okay.
Okay, yeah. The truth is, the Rosh is talking here about what? It's talking about the blessing. That's, in other words, that's why we do the blessing. The rabbis made a blessing because of the you touching your body. So in other words, it's a mitzvah. They made like a mitzvah, to do this and to bless.
And you have to do 3 times. Yes.
We didn't get that yet. We're going to get that soon. We're going to talk about that. So he says, "V'katav Rabbeinu Yerucham." Says Rabbi Yerucham, "B'netiv Yudvet, Chelek Vav, u'mvarech al netilat yadayim." You bless netilat yadayim al shem hakeli shenikra antal. Oh, so the question is, why do we call it netilat yadayim? It should be rechitzat yadayim, right? Washing the hands. Why netilah? Netilah is not washing. So why do we call it netilah? So it says it goes according to the kli. The kli that you use is called antal. Antal. Ve'af shelo nitkan kli ela b'shvil shenetilat achila. So even though really the truth is, right, that the rabbis didn't decree here in the morning to use a kli. You can do, as we said, under the sink. You know what I mean? It's only for seudah you need a kli. So, but it doesn't change the bracha. So therefore, the bracha stays the way it is. Netilat yadayim. So it's basically a borrowed word from the kli, which is called antal. Antal bantal. Okay, that's the way it is, right? So, mikoh makom lo yishnei bracha. Katav Rosh. Besof Rosh has also some different place. Besof brachot, in the end of brachot, vechtov devarav b'samuch. So we're going to write later on, what's going on with his words. Okay, so that's I'm sorry.
It just gave 2 reasons. One, because we may touch our bodies at night, and the other, it's just like a borrowed word from Nitul. What happened to 3?
Oh, wait. Wait. I was talking about 3 reasons?
Yeah.
Okay. The truth is, that here he's not giving you the reason why we wash. He's giving you the reason why we bless.
Oh, okay.
It's a little bit different,
Okay, so.
But, right, it may be, if I'm not mistaken, that the Maran only brings this reason here, but there's also 2 other reasons floating around outside of Maran. You know what I mean? The Maran doesn't bring. What does that mean? There's in the Zohar. You know what I mean? It looks like he didn't bring that. There's also the reason of the Rashba. He says Bria Chadasha. You're like a new creation in the morning. I guess the reason why he doesn't bring those 2 is because this is the more like Pashut Pshat. The simple meaning of the whole thing. You know what I mean? More the Talmudic style approach. Maran is not dealing. Usually he's not dealing with Kabbalah. I mean, that's not his job. You want to go to that? Go to the Arizal, right? Wrong department. Go to you have the wrong yeshiva. Go to the other yeshiva. That's the idea. So he's talking about Pshat. So according to Pshat, this is the Rosh. What the Rosh said. This is what it is. Okay, so let's see Shulchan Aruch. Okay. But as we said, right, the Zohar Kadosh says it's because of Ruach Ra'ah. This is the reason why you have to wash in the morning. Maran is going to probably cover that too, if I'm not mistaken. He's going to cover it somewhere, if I remember correctly. He's going to talk about Ruach Ra'ah. the evil spirit, right? Whatever, all that stuff. Well, we're gonna see a lot of things. Okay, little by little. So let's go to Shulchan Aruch. Siman Daled. Oh, okay. This is a big Siman. A lot of halachot over here. Okay, so it says in Shulchan Aruch. You guys got it? Where is it?
Yes.
So it says Ilchat Yadav Bivarech, right? Bless, wash your hands and bless. Al Netilat Yadayim. Okay. So in the parentheses, right? Somebody brought this in here. When you see like in the parentheses, like small print.
Yeah.
Somebody put this stuff in here. There was some rabbi who did this. The Shulchan Aruch, you know. It's not even the Ramah. I'm not sure. This one is. It says Haggah. You know, when it says Haggah, it's the Ramah. But if it's just without Haggah, it's not the Ramah. It's somebody else there. Okay, so this is the Ramah. So the Ramah says, "V'yesh omrim gam asher yatzar." Oh, so Ramah says you should also bless asher yatzar. So what does that mean? Even if you didn't use the bathroom, that's what it means to say. Understand? According to this opinion, even if you don't use the bathroom, you should bless asher yatzar. Do we paskin that way?
No.
We don't. We only bless asher yatzar when you use the bathroom. In the morning, you usually do. I mean, you know, like usually, you know.
Yeah.
I don't remember any time that you don't. So I'm sorry. Yeah. So then you know.
You say?
Yeah, you're not gonna say no. We're not gonna. We don't do that. Even if you didn't go to the bathroom, so that's the mean hag. Look what it says, right? Incredible. Okay, so it seems like the Ashkenazim have this custom like that to bless Asher Yatzar, even though they didn't use the bathroom. What does that mean? Only in the morning, right? When they get up.
Do they do it?
Sorry.
Do they follow?
They probably do. Yeah, they probably do. Yeah. They go according to the Ramah. You know, the Ramah is their Rebbe. You know, okay. Everybody has his Rebbe.
If you don't say Asher Yitzhak, then you cannot do Neshama.
You can. There's a discussion about that. The Gaon Mavina Paskins that you don't really need it. You know, it's just it's good to do this way. You know, but not necessary.
First bracha, not necessary.
Right? Yeah, not necessary. Yeah. So yeah. So okay, good. So then he says Maran, Maim Psulim Nentilat Yadayim Seuda. Water which is disqualified for the Seuda to use. You know, there's certain types of water you're not allowed to use. We're going to discuss that later on. You know, down the road. So he says, "Ksherim netilat yadayim the tefillah." But for prayers, it's allowed to use that kind of water. For instance, you know what's a good example? Like turbid water, you know, dirty, you know, like brown water, you know, stuff like this. In the morning, you can use it. For seudah, don't use that kind of stuff. Things like this. Right? I'm just giving you an example. Right, dirty water, the turbid water, whatever it's called.
Wait, for soda.
I'm sorry.
For dirty water, don't use for soda.
For soda, there are certain types of water we don't use, right? So I think dirty water is one of them. You know, like brown water, turbid water.
But for tefillah, it doesn't.
It's mutar. It's mutar. Look what it says, right? But there is one who says, even though you can use water like that, but don't bless, because you know it's not. You don't bless on dirty water. Whatever. Okay, it's an interesting idea. Good. So that's that, right? We're done with that. Good. Sorry.
Before continue, I just want to ask. The bit Yosef, the following bit Yosef is a combination of Sib's Bet, Gimel, Dalet, and Hey.
Right, I saw that. I caught it.
Just wanna.
Okay, God bless you.
I just wanted to.
Sure, I understand. Yeah, that's good. No problem. I have no objections. Okay. Okay. Somebody's got to take care of the business. You know, somebody's got to do it. Okay. You took the job, so we'll give it to you. But you know, we're gonna pay you only a little bit. We're not gonna pay you too much. Okay. So. Okay. You get paid over there. They'll pay you over there.
Oh wow, that's
the next station.
The best.
The next station they'll pay you.
That's the best.
Okay. So right. So let's go to the tour. B'dakdek, right? The tour. B'dakdek. So it says the tour. B'dakdek le'arot alehem shelosh hapamim. Now here we go, right? 3 times. Right? Got to do 3 times. Why? Here we go, right? You have ruach ra, you know? So you don't get the ruach ra off unless you do 3 times. So the only thing that brings up the ruach ra is 3 times. Therefore, he says, צריך למנוע מהגיע בידו שיראה עליהם ג' פעמים, ועל כך צריך למנוע מהגיע בידו קודם נטילת לפה, חותם לאוזניים ועיניים מפני שרוח רע שורה עליהם. So he says, therefore you should be careful, you know, before you wash your hands, don't touch any of the like the cavities in your body, you know, the open places, eyes, nose, mouth, right, whatever, all that stuff. Right? Don't touch any open cavity in your body. Why is that? Because the ruach ra will damage, you know, do some damage there. You know what I mean? Did you lose the place, guy?
No, because the next thing is.
Yeah.
Sorry to bother you, Rabbi. I have a question.
Sure.
The question is that you mentioned before that the Ruach Ra is no longer applicable in our time. So does it still apply in this case?
Right. So yeah, we talked about that. We had a lot of discussions about Ruach Ra. So the answer is that according to, you know, after looking at the sugya, all the poskim here, there, right, seeing an overview of the whole thing, the conclusion is basically there is Ruach Ra, but it's a lesser, you know, level. It's a lower level of Ruach Ra, not what we used to have before. This is the answer.
I understand. Thank you.
Okay, God bless. So we finished the tour.
That was the tour.
So yeah, it's really short, right? We could just finish the whole thing.
Yeah, I was just saying the next seif of the tour is Chavbet.
I got it. Oh wow, which one? How does that start?
Ve'im en lo mayim.
Ooh,
because like
I see. Okay, so let me
is
just read up to there. Let me just read up to there, and we'll stop there. Right. So we finished. Okay, we're done with that. Let's go back to the Bet Yosef. Okay.
Rabbi, I'm curious.
What do you say?
I'm curious why certain sieves from the tour is like skips like from Hay, and then the next one is like Yudalid, and then like in between.
So you know what it is? It's not really it's not his fault. It's not his fault. The way that Maran arranged the Bet Yosef, you know, that's the way he did it. You know what I mean? He, you know, that's the way he ordered it. So the tour just wrote what he wrote, you know, basically. And then Maran, you know, did some, you know, things. He made it he organized it a little bit different. Right, so that's probably the answer to your question. So if I understood your question correctly, hopefully I did.
No, yeah, because sometimes like you see, it's first there's like a seder of the sifim, like ala bed gimel.
Oh, okay.
And then after gimel, let's say the next sif is like tet, and then between gimel,
this is Maran.
Yeah,
this is Maran. Yeah, that's the way he arranged the Bet Yosef and Shulchan Aruch. You know. That's the way it comes out like that. But the tour never dreamt about these things, you know. When he just wrote it, you know. He didn't know Maran what he's gonna do. That's the way it is, you know. That's what happens when your book gets hijacked by somebody. You know what I mean? You don't know what they're gonna do with you. Okay. So all right. So let's go on. I'm sure he considers it a kavod, of course. Of course. All right, so let's see Bet Yosef. It says like this, right? V'daktek le'arot alehem shelosh pa'amim, right? The Bet Yosef. You got that?
Yes.
Yitzhak, you got it? So it's mipnei ruach ra'ah, all this whole thing. So I'm skipping down, right, where the tour starts. The Bet Yosef, I'm sorry. Perek shmona shratzim, that's where it is, right? That's the source of this halakha. Where is that? In Shabbat. Chuf chet amud bet. Skipping down a few lines, you know, after the headline. So it says Yad. So what does it say over there? Yad la'ain tikatzetz. Oy vavoy. That says right over there in Gemara. If you put your hand on your eyes, right, cut off that hand, right? In other words, bad boy, no, bad boy. Why did you put your hands over there, right? Yad lachotam tikatzetz. Also, if you put it in your nose, right, cut it off. Yad pentikatzetz. Also to your mouth, right? Cut that down. It sounds like the Arabs, you know, that they cut their hands off or they steal, you know, whatever. This is their custom, you know. Okay. Yad le'ozen tikatzetz, le'avdil, right? Also the ear, same thing, right? As we said, right? Every cavity, right, is a problem. Open place. These are the open places, you know. Okay. So then he goes, Yad lechasuda perush, Yad lechasuda perush makom shemekiz dam. Also, same thing. If you did some bloodletting, right? In the old days, they used to do bloodletting. You know, what does that mean? They took out some blood from their body because the blood pressure was too high. You know, so in order to reduce the blood pressure, they would just, you know, take out some body blood. That's the way it was. In the old days, they used to need that. Today we don't need it so much. You know, we're not that strong, we're not that powerful. And so yeah. So anyway, right? So also there, right? In other words, you got a wound over there, right? Where you took out the blood, you know? You got a wound. So don't touch it there, you know? Same thing, right? It's open. That's the problem. You know what I mean? Also, same thing, right? What on your member, right? On your penis. So what does that mean? Don't touch the hole where your urine comes out. Don't touch that. You know, be careful. So what does that mean? If you use the bathroom, use a tissue, you know, don't touch it with your bare hands. You know what I mean? Then you got no problem. You're good. You know?
You touch right there, right? But you don't touch it.
Oh, right. Yes, of course. Yes, we said only married men can do that, right? Only if you're a married dude. Okay, but the single guys, no. Okay, good. Very nice. And then it goes on to say, also the same thing with your anus, right? Don't touch your anus. It's open, you know. So don't touch it there. So if you go, you know, do something, make sure you use a tissue again. Right? Same thing, right? Don't touch it with your bare hands. Good. Yad legigit perush shematilin ba shechal tikatzetz. So now he brings other things, you know, which are interesting also. He's touching like a barrel of beer, you know, some alcoholic beverage. Also, that's a problem. So it seems like what you're putting ruach ra in there, whatever, something like that. We'll see what that means. Yad mesame yad chareshet yad male polyphos. So now Rashi explains, right? What does all this stuff mean? The last few words I didn't get. I didn't understand what it was. So Rashi will explain it. So it says Pirash Rashi. Rashi explains Yad la'ayin shachrit. If you put your hand on your eyes, right before shachrit, you know, in the morning, kodem sheitol yadav, before you wash your hands, cut that down. Cut off his hands. Right. That's tough words, right? Yeah, these were tough people.
Which hand, depending on where you point your tefillin.
Well, I'm not going to get too graphic with you, but yeah, I'm not gonna. Maybe you want to make a diagram. You know, we'll do a diagram. How do you cut it off? I'm sorry. What do you say?
So what such language? What do they make sure?
You know what I was trying to tell you? Like, be very, very careful. It's like a warning. You know, like watch it. You know, like like when they give you that warning sign. You know, like danger of death. You know, like high voltage. You know, they put that skull. You know, you see that? Oh my God! You know? Like, watch it. You know, like it's the same thing over here. So again, right? As we said, the Ruach Ra in the old days used to be much more powerful. So in those days, it was a matter of life and death. You know what I mean? You could die from that. So you gotta watch out. Today, nobody dies from these things. But it could still maybe do some harm, God knows, you never know what's gonna be, So watch out, be careful. But you never know. So yeah.
That sounds like meditation, more physical than spiritual.
Yeah, I mean the truth is that Ruach Ra is a spiritual thing, That's not really physical, It's what we call that in Hebrew? There's the word sakana, you know what that means? Danger, right? Sakana means danger. So there's a sakana which is like mamashi, you know what that means? Like physical danger, There are certain things which are physically dangerous. There's also sakana which is called sakana segulit, you know what that means? Spiritually dangerous. So which one is worse, by the way? The physical is worse, because the seguli, the spiritual, is like it may happen, it may not happen. We're not really sure what's going to happen. You know what I mean? It may harm you. You got to watch out. So that's why the physical one is more stringent. We're more stringent with that in general.
Smell be something physical or spiritual?
I'm sorry.
Smell.
Smell is physical. Because you know what it is, right? That there's in the air, there's some molecules there, you're breathing that.
I'm just wondering how you classify it by the Torah. Because at the bathroom, no, so
Yeah.
was to close the door.
Right. But the truth is, the issue with the smell is not ruach ra. It's just a bad smell, So
Oh.
yeah, there's no ruach ra coming from the smell. Yeah. There may be some ruach ra in the bathroom. That's a different story,
Mhm.
But outside there is none.
So there's the physical. And the
Right. There's just
spiritual
bad
difference.
smell, which gives you it's not proper to bless like that because you're in a bad state of mind spiritually. The smell messes you up your head. Messes up your neshama, whatever. Yeah, so that's the whole thing. So as we said, right, Rashi here describes this. Look what is unbelievable, right? Rashi says, right? Why again, this is the answer to your question. Why does it use such harsh language? So Rashi says the reason why it's using such harsh language is because if he touches his eye like that, it may blind him. He's gonna go blind. Again, as we said, right? In those days, it was a real danger going on there. It's something really dangerous. And he says, same thing with everything else. So what does that mean? And if you touch your ears, you may go deaf. God knows, you're gonna lose that sense that whatever, all kinds of things like this.
So whatever sense, depending on which sense you could lose.
You could lose the sense, right? Yeah, it's very dangerous. You gotta watch out. So as we said today, it's a little bit better, but anyway, right? We're trying to be careful as much as we can. Use some tissues, don't touch it directly. Okay, good. So Yad le'ain mesameh kodem letila. Yad le'ozen mechareshet. Right. Look what it says. Exactly what we just said. Right. If you touch your ear, it'll make you deaf. Yad le'peh or lechotam. What about the mouth or the nose? What's going to happen over there? Male polipos. So what is polipos? It gives you polipos. Reach hachotam ve'apeh. It gives you like bad breath or like.
That's polipos.
That's what he says. Reach hapeh. That's what it means. Bad breath. Right? Huh?
What?
Sounds like polyps.
Polyps, huh?
Polyps. What is polyps, by the way?
Not those two.
Polyps are basically inside your nose or anything in the nasal passage, like growths of excessive meat.
Okay. So it may be the same thing because maybe it means to say, right, that'll grow and that'll cause bad smell. I don't know. It's possible. I really don't know, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it's possible.
It's probably there's probably the same term, It's a foreign word. It's not a Hebrew word, polipos. It's like a Greek word, It's, you can see it by the structure of it. Okay, whatever. So, right.
What's a medical term?
I'm sorry?
It's a medical term nowadays.
Got
Polyps.
it. Okay, good. All right, that's good. Good to know. So, very good. So, it's very interesting. Okay. So, so then it goes on to say, right, regarding the that when it talks about the member, right, touching it, you're not talking about shachrit. It's because it brings you to erection, right, or wasted seed, like we talked about before. Kach yad lefi tabat, right? Also in your anus, right, anal area, the meshamesh ba tadir. If you play around with it with your finger, what happens is maybe it brings you bowel problems, all kinds of issues there, right? So it makes you sick, you got some issues with the stomach, constipation, God knows, whatever it is, I don't know what it is. So right there you go, right? You got your whole prescription over here, right? The doctor's orders. The Tamo shel Rashi. So it says, what's the reason of Rashi? Shkatav diyad le'ama v'ad lefi tabat lav le'inyan netilat shachrit nakat. So why did Rashi? He says, Maran asked the question, right? Why did Rashi say that? All of a sudden that regarding the issue of the member and the anus is not talking about shachrit. In other words, how do you know that? Where do you get that from? This idea. So the truth is, the truth is that if he did not wash his hands, I'm sorry, even if he did wash his hands, he says, he shouldn't touch the penis anyway, right, as we said, right, because it's the issue of zera vatala. Also, don't play around with your anus, right? Midelo tane gabe yad mesameh, because it teach it regarding, right, to the that it makes you blind. Hazek sheoseh hayad le'ama That's the damage that the hand does to the penis. I'm sorry, the anus, or the tabat, or yeah, the same thing. ולפי זה יד לחסודה ויד לגגית נמי לאו לעניין נטילת שחרית נקד. So according to this, he says also we talked about the issue of touching the beer, right? Whatever, this barrel, all kinds of things like this. It's also not talking about shachrit. It's talking about general. In other words, it's telling you, right, that if you do it, it's going to cause damage. It has nothing to do with shachrit.
I didn't get the question that that was asked. Like, right, we just asked a question. Like there's no difference between whether you wash or you don't wash.
Right, exactly. That's just what he's saying. That in other words, even if you did wash, there's going to be a problem anyway if you do these things. Yeah, exactly. It's not talking about shachrit. That's the point. Right.
That's the answer.
Mhm.
That when I talk about
That's the pshat.
shachrit as in the tefillah.
Ruach ra. It's not the issue of ruach ra. It's just something else. When you touch it with your hand, it ruins it. It doesn't matter whether you're clean or not clean. That's the problem. Okay, so even if he washes his hands, look what he says, right? Exactly what she said. So, right, he's telling you, right, the place where you did bloodletting, you got a little wound over there. Like same thing today would apply, right? If you did some kind of a transfusion of blood, right, there's a wound, so don't touch it. In other words, even if your hands are clean, don't touch it, because agitating it will cause damage. You know how it is, right? When you touch your wound, it brings germs there, and could cause infection, right? It could be that he's talking about that infection. משום הכי לא נזכרו גבי יד מסמא. I'm sorry, I went back a little bit. לכן רבנו לא כתב פה אלא שלא פה, therefore Rabbeinu only wrote that they shouldn't touch the פה לחותם. He only wrote regarding the mouth and the nose, ולעיניים, and the eyes, אוזניים, and the ears. So the other things he didn't put in here, like the Gemara did. The barrel of this and the barrel of that, and the wound, because it's not shachrit. That's the reason why. That's why he didn't put it there.
Shachrit as in the tefillah shachrit.
Right. In other words, that means not tefillah shachrit. It means the ruach ra. You have before you wash.
Oh, okay.
You understand? Yeah. Okay, good. So, right. So here we're talking about what? That here we're talking about things that you in the morning you touch them before you did netilat yadayim. This is the problem that we're talking about here. So he doesn't bring all those things which are not relevant here. So those things, even if you did wash your hands, it's still going to do damage. Because Sinan too hatam b'samuch, right? There's also another thing over the Gemara. Kuftet Amud Aleph. Tanya, there's a Braita. Rabbi Natan Omer, says Rabbi Natan, Bat Chorin hi zo umakpedet b'netilato u'netelo yafeh. Oh, look what it says. Unbelievable, right? So he describes this ruach ra, right? What it is. So it's called Bat Chorin, the name of the ruach ra. That's the name. By the way, why would they want to give a name to the ruach ra? What's the thing? So Lichora, you know why that is? Because it's controlled by some kind of a demon, some kind of a Shin Dalet. So that Shin Dalet is called Bat Chorin. That's probably what it is. They give it a name like that.
Not allowed to say the real name.
At night they say, not good to say, at night. That's what I was taught by my rabbis when I was a kiddo. Whatever. They taught me not to say that. Yeah, the truth is, the Arizal talks about this, not to say all kinds of things that that can affect you. He's talking about the Zohar, like in other words, if you see the names of the angels in the Zohar, he says don't read them, like read them like abbreviation. Don't read the full name because it can do all kinds of things. There's all kinds of things like this. So he says this is called Bat Chorin, right? So he's makpid, this demon, whatever you want to call it, right? That what you got to wash good. What does that mean? Good. Shalosh pamim 3 times. You got to do 3 times. That's when he leaves. Otherwise, he's stubborn. He's a stubborn one. He stays there until 3 times. Okay, good. So let's do Shulchan Aruch. We're going to Bet, right?
And
Yeah, the whole thing, right? Until Hey. Got it. Okay, beautiful. Let's go. So says Shulchan Aruch, מדקדק להראות עליהם מים גימל פעמים.
Why?
You see that? Am I in the right place?
Oh, sorry, I'm in the wrong page. Okay.
One of us is in the wrong place. Okay.
Okay.
So it says, "Idakdek le'arot alehem mayim גימל פעמים." Be careful to do 3 times, right? As we said, because this guy's stubborn, you know? You can't get him off without that. להעביר רוח רע ששורה עליהם. Why? Because you want to get the ruach ra off you.
Can I ask a question? Where do we get the? What if I just like wash, let's say, just once or twice?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't I remove ruach ra like that?
Because this is the way it works, you know. This guy's stubborn, you know, so it doesn't come off.
What's significant about food?
You know how things are, right? Sometimes, you know, somebody will come, right? I'll give you an example, right? Sometimes a dog will come, you know, and will ask you for food, you know. So you got to hit him, you know, like to get him away from you, you know, give him a smack, you know. So sometimes you got to hit him a couple of times, and he'll realize, you know, like don't come to me anymore. Like I'm not your owner, you know. Like the same thing over here. This one is a dog, you know. You got to get him out of here. I'm saying, yeah.
We're gonna cover the how about the goyim, they're washing, not washing, and preparing food.
Oh, yeah. Well, the truth is, you know, it's not talk. It doesn't talk in the Shulchan Aruch about the washing of the goyim because they don't have such a mitzvah. They don't have any mitzvah like that
What if I was
to wash hands. I'm sorry.
A Jew, like a bakery.
Yeah, the poskim talk about that. You know, the truth is, with the goy, it's not really an issue at all. We don't care about that because they don't have any mitzvah to wash hands. Why? Because they don't have any ruach ra. You know, but you know what we're really concerned about? We're talking about the chiloni, you know, the non-religious Jew. That's what we're concerned about. So the rabbi talks about this. You know, he wrote about this. He says it's okay. You know, you can go to a bakery like that where there's chilonim working there. So he brings some things. You know, he says, you know, that even though they don't wash with a cup, you know, they do wash in the morning their hands. You know, so minas tam, you know, they did something. You know, they wash their hands in the morning. You know, yeah, 3 times. Yeah. So he brings over there, you know, that even though first of all, right, number one, as we said, that the ruach ra today is weaker. You know, so that's one reason why we're more lenient. That's what he says, the rabbi. The ruach ra is weaker, number one. And number two, also, the other reason is because even though you need 3 times to get it fully off, but 1 time also does something. You know, in other words, it does something. It weakens it. I'm sorry.
So there's potential leading some contaminated.
I don't really see it that way. No, the rabbi says it's okay, but you know, what do you call it? We're not worried about it. But there's also other reasons we're not worried about it, because the truth is, you know, that if I remember correctly, ruach ra is only transmitted through the medium of a liquid. You know, so if you touch it as dry, I don't think it transmits the ruach ra. You know what I mean? Yeah, all kinds of issues, you know. But the rabbi writes about this, you know, because in Israel they have a lot of bakeries like that, you know, which are non-religious people. He says it's okay. You can eat there. He says okay, yeah. So we're okay with that. You know, I mean, look, if you want to be machmir, you know, I understand. Go to you know, Borough Park, you know, buy over there. Okay, whatever. So, by the way, in Borough Park they also bring some non-religious Jews. I remember, you know, like once a friend of mine was working in the matzah bakery, you know, over there in Brooklyn, in Williamsburg, and they had a lot of not religious people there who were working, making the matzot. You know, yeah, no, they need workers. You know, you can't always find religious workers. You know, it's the whole thing. You know.
Mentioning an issue with that.
So who's mentioning?
With non-religious Jews making the matzah.
Who's mentioning this?
One of the rabbis.
Okay.
That the flour gets stuck in the nails.
Oh.
And then
Yes.
There's passes, it's comments, and then they put the next. They start on the next matzah.
Yeah. But it's not really a big problem because it gets nullified. You know, batul b'shishim.
With what?
It gets nullified in 60th. Yeah, batul b'shishim. Yeah. Everything gets batul b'shishim. Just about anything you can imagine. So that's why we're not concerned about that. That's why, by the way, also the same thing with the machine matzah, right? Because what happens is that with the machine matzah, what you have is a situation where, you know, the machine gets dirty as you use it, like, throughout the day, it gets dirty. And if you don't stop it and clean it, like there'll be some residue, just like in your fingernails, same thing over there with the machine. So this is the reason why we allow that, because it's batal b'shishim, that's what they say. Otherwise, that would be also a problem, the machine. But there are those that are machmir, so what do? The machmir, they stop the machine every 18 minutes and they clean it, which raises the price, by the way. Like you have to pay double or triple for that matzah, because they're stopping the machine all the time. It costs them more money, so there's a name for that, in the market. It's called Yud Chet Regaim. You know what that means? 18 minutes, they call 18-minute matzah. So what is 18 minutes? Every 18 minutes they stop the machine and they clean it. So you're gonna pay like double or triple for that. That's the way it is, Okay. Anyway, we're paying double, triple for everything today. Inflation, we have big problems with that. So we're spending a lot more money here. So okay, so again, really all right. So that's bet. Let's go to Gimel. Okay, let's go to Gimel. I guess we'll do Shulchan Aruch and we'll stop there or something like that. The whole Shulchan Aruch right there. So going to Gimel.
We're not gonna do Dalet.
Yeah, we are.
Okay.
The whole Shulchan Aruch, the whole thing. Okay, so it says like this, right? We're doing now Dalet, right? Lo yiga be'ado kodem ha'netilah. Don't touch with your hand before you wash. Lepeh, to your mouth. Chotam, to your nose, right? V'lo le'oznaim, and your ears. V'lo le'einayim, and not your eyes, right? All these places, right? The ruach ra can contaminate them. So what does that mean? You're going to lose your senses, right? At least in those days it was like that. Today it may not be so, but still, right? We try to be careful with that as much as we can. Okay, good, very good. Let's go to hey, right?
Dalet.
Dalet, I'm sorry. Dalet. Okay, so it says, "Afilu mishenatal yadav lo yimashmesh befiyav tabat tamid." Wow, look what it says, right? Even if you did wash your hands, right? Don't play around with your anus all the time, with your finger. You're going to get a problem with that. You're going to get some bowel problems with that. That's the idea. Lo yiga b'makom ha'chaza. Also, don't touch right where you bloodlet. You did some transfusion, right? The blood. Shemishmush hayad mazik lechavura, right? Because it does damage the wound, right? As we said, there's germs. That's the problem, right? Today we call that germs, bacteria, whatever, right? That's what happens, So you get infection. So the rabbis knew that, they understood that. There's a problem with that. There you go, right? They were pretty smart people. Okay, there you go. So let's go to Hey. So it says in Hey, Lo yiga begigit shechar. Also, right? Don't touch the beer barrel, right?
Oh, beer, as in
Yeah, beer, yeah. Shemishmush hayad mafsid hashechar, because it damages the beer. Interesting, right?
that is interesting.
Yeah. It doesn't say wine, by the way. It's interesting, right? The wine, no, but the beer, yes. Interesting. Everything has its own properties, What can you do, right? That's the way it is. Okay, we have a little bit more time if you want to continue a little bit.
Can we do?
Yeah. What time is it? It's 9:30, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we have like 5 minutes. We can do 5 more minutes.
Can we? The next bit, Yosef?
Yeah, we're gonna do the next one. Yeah, do another. So let's go. Right, the tour we're done, right? We're done.
Yeah.
Okay, good. So we're going straight to Beit Yosef. Very good. Okay, so where is that going? Vav, right?
Yes.
Katuv be'orchot haim. You see that, Yitzchak? Beit Yosef, Vav. Show them where it is. Okay, got it. So it says, right, it's written in Orchot Chaim, right? One of the Rishonim, Orchot Chaim. B'Shem Haram, right? In the name of the Ram. Who's the Ram? This is the Rabbi Meir Mirottenburg. But here in the parentheses it says something else. But whatever, anyway. She'en tzarich litol yadav mirevi'it. Ela le'achila. Oh, look what it says, right? That regarding the morning, you don't need to use a revi'it, right? At least, in other words, the minimum amount, like you do regarding eating. When it comes to eating, you need at least revi'it, which is not really a large amount of water. It's like 80 cc's. Not really a large amount. It's 3 ounces basically. That's what it is. So can you imagine? Like we wash, with like 15 ounces of water, 20 ounces. These guys were using Revit sometimes. I guess they had a shortage of water. That's the reason why. So they had to like really minimize. They didn't have a lot of water. They didn't have running water. Coming all the time. Like we have today. That was a fantasy in those days. So they had to cut back, minimize their usage. I guess whatever. Yeah. Oh no, that's for my machronim. You do that. But for my rishon, for the morning, you gotta wash. The truth is, it's a machloket between the rishonim. Some say you gotta do at least until here, like Tisha B'av. At least that. Some say you gotta do the whole hand. So the truth is, lechatchila, we try to do the whole hand. But if you did at least this much, you're good. You're okay. So if you got like most of the hand and you didn't get that little extra piece, it's all right. But lechatchila, you should try to do the whole hand if it's possible, because there's different opinions. Yeah. Yeah. Well, the truth is, according to what we do in Tisha B'av, you see that it's like until the knuckles to the Ruach Ra. That's what it really is.
Oh, I thought it's because you're not supposed to enjoy. That's why the sensitivity is.
The reason we do it until there, yeah, you also enjoy it on your fingers. That's the same thing. There's nerve endings there. What I mean? That's not the issue. The issue is that the Ruach Ra is until there. So therefore we, yeah. Yeah, I understand what you're saying. There's some kind of a thing like that where it says, that it goes, the Ruach Ra goes until the edge of the fingers, something like that, whatever. But the truth is, in halakha, we're makpid about until the knuckle. That's halakha. It's an interesting question, but that's the way it's in halakha. And what's the proof? Right? Yom Kippur and Tisha B'av. That's what we do. You watch until the knuckles. Why is that? Because you need it to get the Ruach Ra off. Okay, so. So he says, we know why? Because when it comes to prayers, if you don't have water, you could use something abrasive, just clean your hands. A towel, as we said, some dirt, your clothing, whatever it may be, right? You can use other things as well. So, as we said, right, Revi'it was only made regarding the food, the seudah.
But by tefillah,
meals. Right, exactly. Okay, so let's see the Shulchan Aruch, and I guess we'll stop there. There's the Shulchan Aruch in Sif Vav. And Tzarich Revi'it Netilat Yadayim Shel Tefillah. So the truth is, he's not talking here about Ruach Ra. He's talking about for prayers. You don't need Revi'it. Okay, we know what to do. Yodim מה לעשות. לילה טוב. God bless you. All the best. God bless. Okay, that's Yossi's mom. God bless her. So, nice lady. She's a good lady. God bless her. So, and צריך רביעית נטילת ידיים לתפילה. So, we're not talking about here about נטילת ידיים for ruach ra'ah. We're talking about for tefillah. That's what it says. So, we gotta make sure, right? We understand that. The truth is, as we said, right, for netilat in the morning, we use like a big cup, we try to get a lot, so, right, so he's talking about tefillah. So he compared it to what? That you don't need revi'it. Why? Because you could also use some dirt, you could also use some, something abrasive. So the rabbis were not makpid, they know about the shiur for tefillah. By the way, you should know, just, for, to remind you that a lot of people don't really know this halakha, you got to wash your hands before prayers. You know what I mean? So they're not makpid about
any
this.
prayer.
Yeah, any prayer, yeah.
But
mincha, arvit, same thing. It's all the same,
But
I mean, if you're doing mincha, arvit together, you don't need to, you don't need to do it twice because you're there. But I'm talking about,
all this because even in the daytime you may touch certain things that
right. You may not be clean. That's the whole thing. It's cleanliness. That's as we said, right? So a person has to know that. We wash our hands. You don't need a cup. You don't need it every eat.
Like this,
like
1, 2.
You don't need 3. You don't 3. Just 1 is enough. It's nikiyut. It's cleanliness. It's not for ruach.
Well, I have a question. I'm sorry.
Yes, Nisim.
No problem. So practically speaking, you wake up in the morning, you open your eyes, you can rub your hands in the brace of service, or you can go and you have to go wash your hands.
As we said, right, what we do is like this. According to Maran, according to the mashmaut, to the implication of this sugya also, the proper thing to do is like this. You wake up, okay? you get dressed, at least minimally, right, to cover your, private parts.
Genitals.
You
Okay.
go to the bathroom. Okay, you do what you have to do, and don't touch your open cavities,
Mm-hmm.
right? You do what you have to do. You come out. You go to the kitchen, wash your hands, and make netilat yadayim. Bless netilat yadayim. This is the proper way to do in our time.
I see. I understand there are some people who also have basins under their bed with water.
Right. The rabbi doesn't. He didn't like that stuff. He wasn't into it.
Yeah. I
These
think
are
it's weird too.
the fake Hasidim. The fake guys. They don't know what they're doing. They think they're doing.
I-
They think they're doing Hasidut, but actually they're not doing Hasidut. They're doing something wrong by doing this way.
See.
Okay, whatever.
Okay, thank you.
God bless. Okay, whatever. Everybody has their own way of doing things. But
I mean, if you feel a clean in the bathroom and you wash your hands at least there, or like you
as
take
we
a
said,
shower.
right,
in the
there's
morning.
also a problem with that because the problem is like this. Which one are you going to make the blessing for? If you're washing
Right.
your hands twice, right? Which one are you going to do the blessing on? If you do it on the first washing, the problem is that you still haven't gone to the bathroom.
Right.
So you're
What if you take a shower?
making a blessing with a full bladder, which is not really covered. If you're doing
I
it
see.
afterwards, the blessing, the problem is that the first washing already took care of the ruach ra, so you're making a bracha levatala lichora. You're making a
Mhm.
blessing in vain possible.
Right.
Either way, right, doesn't come out good. So therefore, the best thing to do is to do the way Maran said.
Makes sense. Okay.
Okay, God bless. Chazak
Thank you very
u'baruch,
much.
Laila tov. Thanks for
Thank you.
coming, guys.
Thank you very much.
People, God bless you. And we'll see
Together.
you tomorrow. God bless. Thank you.
Good night.
God
Thank you,
bless.
Rabbi. God bless.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Nice to see you. Tonight I brought my coat. I wasn't stupid this time.
Oh, it's got very cold.
Rabbi Daniel,
Now I learned my lesson. Yes, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
The winter
I
started.
just want to say thank you for the